business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business with
Welcome to another episode of the Don Davis Real Estate Show. It's your host, Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, brokered by EXP, broadcasting live here from 6161 Savoy, 100.7 FM. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Upon that rock, he built this church. Upon that rock, we have built our business, and our results are a reflection of our character. We're broadcasting live here on this sunny Sunday, September the 15th, 2019. Wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to go to church this morning, and wanted to kind of elaborate on what I learned at church today. Once again, I attend Pastor Joel Osteen with Lakewood Church, and what he talked about is having faith, even when you don't see things growing and going your way, to keep your faith and know that things we're going to work out on your behalf. He used an analogy of a eagle's faith is basically the fact that eagles, unlike humans, during a 9-month pregnancy, eagles have a 35-day nesting period in which the eagles must rest on the eggs. And during that time, the eagles do not move, they don't peck, they don't do anything, but they are growing. And a lot of times in our faith, in our businesses, we wonder, hey, what's going on? Is anything happening? Is anything going in my favor? A lot of times, some of the biggest miracles are developed in the dark. So I just want to make sure to encourage everybody in that aspect and realize just because you don't see the results right away, it does not mean that things are not going to work out on your behalf. You'd be surprised what's going on behind the scenes that will bless you in the future. And that's what the eagle's nest faith was all about, is the fact that even though you don't see the eagles growing, 35 days later, after you protect the seed, the baby eagles do hatch. So protect your business, whatever you were working on, and keep doing. Do not become weary in well doing, and guarantee you one day it's going to hatch. Speaking of hatching, I want to send a shout out to one of my best friends, the guy who helped me get in the luxury business by trusting me to sell one of his luxury properties, Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes was nominated for the NFL Hall of Fame class of 2020. So I want to make sure everybody sends a big shout out to Priest Holmes, 31, Kansas City Chiefs, straight out of San Antonio, Texas, nominated for the 2020 Hall of Fame. And I really think he deserves it because he's great not only on the field, but off the field as well, as far as establishing the character it takes to wear that gold jacket. I know a lot of running backs who have been very talented in the NFL, but not all of them display that character outside of the game. And Priest Holmes definitely deserves that. Also, like I say, he helped me get in the luxury business. People say, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, why do you call yourself luxury? Do you deserve the right to call yourself luxury? Actually, I didn't. Nobody would trust me to sell their luxury property at first. I think I said a few shows back that my mom took me to Parade of Homes. So I saw luxury homes since I was a kid, but nobody, once I got my real estate license, trusted me with their luxury purchase or sell until it was Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes had a piece of property next door to Tim Duncan. He said, Don, hey, man, I heard you've been doing a good job. I want to make sure everything goes well. I need you to sell this property for me. And it was it was history from then on. I was then selected to work for Keller Williams Portfolio Division, a new portfolio luxury division in the Dominion Country Club in San Antonio, Texas, where all the Spurs live, and was able to go ahead and go from Keller Williams Portfolio to the Woodlands and Keller Williams Sugarland, and then all the way full circle to right here with real estate experts, EXP, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. So that's a little short synopsis about me, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure you guys knew that Priest Holmes was the person that gave me the opportunity to get in the luxury real estate market, and he's now been nominated for the 2020 NFL Hall of Fame, and really want to give a big shout out to him because he was well deserving. That's a hard working guy right there. Y'all think it's easy to be a NFL running back? Yeah, these NFL running backs you see nowadays are like recess compared to the work Priest used to do. Priest will wake up working, go to bed working, and just continue to improve his craft. And so no matter what you do, you definitely want to improve your craft. So that's what we're going to go over today to improve your craft as a real estate agent. We're going to go over some customer service ideas that I do for my clients. And then as a consumer or a buyer or a seller, we're going to go over the settlement statement, the closing disclosure. It's what you sign when you go to close on a property, you need to know what you're being charged. You need to know what those fees are on that statement, and need to know how to allocate those fees, whether they go to the buyer, whether they go to the seller, whether they go to the escrow, whether it's cash from you or cash to you. So we're going to go ahead and head to our first break. Remember, love's going to get you. Love where you live. Don Davis, DDLRG. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
Not only do we take care of our clients and our communities, we also are well kept here at DDLRG.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. All right, we're back. We're back. Don Davis, Luxury Realty Group. Love where you live. Love's going to get you. Love what you do. DDLRG, we love what we do, and our results are a reflection of our character. Today, I want to make sure I invited everybody out. If you're in the luxury real estate business in any form or fashion, the Greater Houston Luxury Connection, the top luxury agents in Houston, tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. at Maggiano's on Post Oak, or San Felipe, something like that. Maggiano's from 11:30 to 1. You can find us tomorrow at Maggiano's from 11:30 to 1 tomorrow. If you're a part of if you want to be a part of the Greater Houston Luxury Connection, and that's the top luxury real estate agents or affiliates. So if you do any type of business that supports luxury real estate agents, you're welcome to Maggiano's tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., 11:30 to 1 through the Greater Houston Luxury Connection. So I always relate the real estate business to football, or any type of sport. So you have offense, defense, then you have the referees. Well, if you have offense, defense, then you have the officials. When it comes to buying and selling real estate, we need offense, defense, and we need officials. Well, guess what? The officials is your title company. That's a third party. That's an escrow company. You might as well say they have the black and white stripes on and they call the game. So you have a buyer, you have a seller, then you have an official, and that third party company is an official. The escrow officer, the escrow company, the title company. We use those similar terms. And what they do is they're a third party company to guarantee that the transaction goes fairly to both parties by remaining neutral in the process. So the title company is not for the seller, it's not for the buyer. They really don't care about neither one of you, but they will insure the title. But what they do also is they make sure they collect the funds and disperse the funds. And they also insure the title back into the sovereignty of soil through a title commitment. Well, the main thing is you got to close with a title company. Anytime somebody says, hey, man, I want to buy a house from you, but I don't want to use a title company, that's a red flag. Run. Hey, I want to buy a house from you, but I don't want title insurance. Run. Always make sure you use a title company just to make sure there's no other liens on the property, anything like that. And just to make sure you have a third party that's not biased to overlook the transaction. Just always use a title company. So when you go to the title company, you're going to have what we call settlement statement or a closing disclosure. A lot of times, if you are using a mortgage company, you're going to get this statement 72 hours in advance. But if you're not using a mortgage company, it varies. If you're paying cash, it does vary. But you're going to make sure on that settlement statement, there's going to be a few categories. Looks like it's about 10 categories, 10 sections of that settlement statement that you want to make sure are calculated correctly, and your agent helps you with that. So for instance, if I have the buyer, I'm going to make sure they have the correct consideration on that settlement statement. That's the consideration is the sales price. I don't want to say, hey, on my contract, it said 310 and then I got the settlement statement and it said 320. No, my contract needs to match my settlement statement to make sure I have the correct consideration to take over the property. Then on the next category, you're going to have deposits in escrow. That goes with earnest money. That goes with any type of funds that have been held to say that, hey, this is in good faith that you're going to go ahead and purchase this property. So that escrow is where they collect the taxes, insurance, and earnest money, any type of fees that need to be held by that third party in the process. And then the adjustments. The adjustments can be any concessions, the option money, any concessions include, like, say there was some type of a repair that needed to be done, where the buyer or seller can give credits there, and that credit can go as a concession. Also, the option money that's going to be applied towards the earnest money to go ahead and go towards the consideration will fall under adjustments. Then the next part is going to be prorations. You pay taxes in advance, interest in arrears, taxes in advance. So basically, the adjustments there will go by the prorating depending on the day of the month you close. The calculations are based on the adjustments. So we always need to adjust. You say, hey, Don, if I close Wednesday or Friday, what's the difference? Well, the difference could be a couple of days of property taxes. So you want to know what day you want to close, and at the same time, you want to make sure that the statement is balanced correctly to make sure your prorations do add up and your adjustments as well. Also, commissions. That's where the real estate agents are paid. Usually there's a buyer's commission, there's a seller's commission, and you want to make sure that those are what you have in your listing agreement or in your 1 to 4 family residential contract. And then it also has new loans. New loans or mortgages that you will be taking out for the property will be found on the statement as well. And then existing loans. What is your payoff? We need to know, hey, I know you're buying this property, but what's the payoff on the other one? So, you can't close on the property without paying off the existing liens. So you need to know what existing liens are on the property so they can go ahead and allocate those funds. And then any escrow charges, those are recording fees. That's basically to say, hey, we want to make sure that this fee, the survey is insured. We want to make sure that the any type of title commitment insurance, or also the recording fees that where you say, hey, I'm going to record this with Harris County Courthouse to make sure that my name is on a deed. So there's going to be charges for that. Those are recording fees, and they're minimal, but you just need to know what's on that statement. And the disbursements paid. Last but not least, disbursements paid. At the end of that statement, on the left-hand side, it's going to say cash to or cash from. Are you bringing cash to closing, or are you getting cash from closing by selling? You need to know, is it a cash to or cash from calculated correctly based on the top of the settlement statement. So once again, that's a brief overview of the title company and their duties in the process. Like I said, they're like the officials in a football game. They're wearing black and white. They're neutral. They're not for the home team. They're not for the visitor team. They're not for the buyer. They're for the seller. They're a third-party company to facilitate the transaction, to allocate the funds correctly so everybody's happy. Once again, love where you live, love where you work. DDLRG, headed to our next break. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
I thought that Don Davis was honest and fair. He made us feel like family.
He was very communicative and very informative.
He just helped me to make it very easy, pointed me in the right directions, and gave me a lot of information about what to look out, for.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. We're back. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind it's a Don deal. Want to talk about the purchasing process. Another thing, if you always want to know, hey, Don, what should I offer on the property? A good thing we do, I'm an aggressive buyer's agent when I'm representing a buyer, and I'm even more aggressive when I'm representing the seller. But I'll go ahead and throw a nugget for you. If you're interested in purchasing a property, and you see the tax rate for that property is, say, 2.6, and you see the annual taxes for that last year, say, is $4,000. What you do is you take that 2.6 times that 4,000, and that'll tell you how much to offer. Now, that, don't get me wrong, that's usually based on assessed value. And so what we do is we always start at the assessed value just to check you out, see how motivated you are as a seller, and to give my buyer the best deal possible. But any agents, any buyers out there looking to purchase a resale home, what you would do is start off backing into it. You could take that tax rate times the taxes charged last year, or you could just go to HCAD, Harris County Appraisal District, FBCAD, Fort Bend County Appraisal District, Bexar County Appraisal District, anycad.org will show you the assessed value, and that's usually where we start off with the offers. Unless you're in an area that's changing statuses, like where they're building townhouses and things like that, then you might have to go a little farther in. But we also do market analysis or marketing consultations just to make sure that we give you an aggressive initial offer. Because I tell everybody, you make money when you buy a house, not when you sell a house. Like people say, you're either buyers or sellers, and sellers know that, hey, if I buy this, I want to be able to have an exit strategy and be able to get out this property at any time. So you make money when you buy a house, not when you sell a house. And how you make sure you secure that money up front is by going ahead and making an aggressive offer based on the assessed value, not the appraised value. You start off with the assessed value, then I might go up to market value or appraised value, but that's an aggressive way to buy a house, especially resale. Now, new construction is a little bit trickier. New construction is going to be a little bit trickier because you don't have these improvements assessed already. So 9 times out of 10, you have to get familiar with the other builders. You need to know days on the market. You need to know how long the property has been complete. You need to know when the fiscal year ends for that particular builder to see when they need to liquidate some of their homes off their books. And all these are little tricks to understand how to become a great property owner and walking in with equity. I tell everybody, I don't bake cookies for my clients. I don't bake cakes. I don't do all that, but I do make sure you make money when you buy a property. So when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind it's a done deal. We have a team ready to serve you at all times. Speaking of that, we do have the listings that are back on the market. Back at it again, 7827 Bobbitt Heights off of I-10 in Worth. It's a beautiful townhouse, Frank Lou custom home in a gated community right across from the Woods High School. That's 7827 Bobbitt Heights. It's a beautiful custom home. You can find that on our website, viewallhoustonhomes.com, viewallhoustonhomes.com. And then we also have 12035 Holderite. It's a property that will be classified as a country home. It's 2 to 5 acres. Actually, it's 4 acres, but it goes in that slot of 2 to 5 acres, just off of 249 in Holderite in Tomball, Texas. A beautiful 4-acre property, has horses, cows, you name it, but at the same time has a serenity of those beautiful oak trees. I mean, I got to do an open house over there and I didn't want to leave. So you definitely want to check out 12035 Holderite. That can be found on our website as well. And we have lots of properties to come. Also, we have a few Anglia homes. You know, Anglia's slogan is luxury within reach. And definitely you want to have luxury within reach, that way you're not house poor. You never want to be house poor when you buy a property. So once again, when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a done deal. And that's how to purchase a property with equity. That's how to walk in with equity, because you make money when you buy a home, not when you sell it. You make money when you buy a home, not when you sell it. So if you make money when you purchase, you want to have an exit strategy to where you don't miss out on any equity. Now, as far as selling your home right now, you need to have us come out, do a market analysis. And the main thing we really focus on is the absorption rate in your community. People say, well, my agent told me I'm going to do a CMA and it's all about days on the market. Days on the market is cool. High, medium, and mid price is cool, but it's not absorption rate. Absorption rate tells us how much product is there and at what rate it's going to diminish. And by that, we can calculate whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. If you look at the oil and gas industry, they use absorption rate all the time. It's all about supply and demand. If you got a oversaturated market, it affects your sales prices if you have an oversaturated market. So right now, I'll tell you like this. If your house is between 150 and 250 right now, there's a shortage. We definitely need to sell your house, because if you bought at least 3 to 5 years ago and your house will fall into that 150 to 250 category, there's a line of buyers who want your home. As long as it's in great condition, there's a line of buyers that want your home. Now, you go a little bit over 250, that's a different story. So it's all about supply and demand, absorption rate, and what people can afford, the housing index, the employment rates, the salaries and things like that. But 150 to 250 right now is so busy, I have to schedule appointments. And as a realtor, we love to tell people, hey, I can't show you those homes today, but I can have somebody else show them to you on Thursday. That's a very good problem to have. Also, some of our affiliates are so busy, they're sending out referrals. Everything is becoming connectors. Uber's a connector. Uber's basically, they don't own the cars that they're driving. Well, half of them are drivers. Lyft, they're basically connectors. You go to their website and then they assign you to somebody. Well, guess what? The business is becoming so booming. Business is booming so much that's trickling into real estate as well, to where there's so many people looking for homes. They're going to websites like Zillow. Zillow is then assigning them to agents, and the agents are showing the house and paying Zillow fees. So when the industry goes technology based like that, there's always going to be a demand for software analysts. Anybody with a computer-based background that can generate more traffic is actually coming into the real estate business as well. Now, the problem we are running into at the 150 to 250 is by it getting that busy, there's going to put a shortage on housing and affordability of housing. When it does that, then it affects what people can afford. And there's a new thing coming out now because of that called container houses. So you can Google container houses. But to me, I think they already hit the ground in Austin. And to me, it's a bad problem and a good problem. If you're saying we're so expensive now, we got to sleep in containers, that's pretty bad. But at the same time, you got to catch the wave. And if the wave says houses are going to slowly keep creeping up, and what's 150 to 250 is now pretty much going to be about I guess a container-sized home. One day we're going to be paying $300,000 for a container-sized home. Then we do have a problem. We do have a bubble, and we do need to make some adjustments to make sure the affordability stays okay, to where you don't have two extremes. And what those extremes will relate to is that means eliminating the middle class. That means you're going to have very poor and very rich, and that would eliminate a middle class. So I see way down the road. It's all about projections in our business, and our results are a reflection of our characters because we do project where the industry is going. But if you have a house and you'd like to sell it right now, and it falls in the category between 150 and 250,000, or you just want us to check it out, please go to our website, viewallhoustonhomes.com, and we can tell you exactly what your home is worth. Like I said, there's a line of buyers for homes from 150 to 250 right now, to the point where it's hard to find something that's government loan approved. And what I mean by that, FHA and VA have appraisals that go out, and appraisers that go out, and if the homes have to meet a certain condition. And if those homes don't meet that condition, they cannot get a government-based financing. So when there's a seller's market in that aspect, you start getting some people that put junk on the market, and that junk on the market would not qualify for VA or FHA financing. So you definitely want to make sure you go ahead and add some TLC to the property before you put it on the market. But I tell you like this, if I bought a house for 160 5 years ago, and you tell me now, Don, hey, my house is worth 235, 240, it's a great time to cash out of that property. And keep in mind, you don't have to pay any property taxes on it if you occupied it 2 out of the last 5 years. Excuse me, you do have to pay property tax. I'm sorry, you don't have to pay any capital gains tax if you occupied it 2 out the last 5 years. So no capital gains. That's a good time to go ahead and take that money, put it towards another property, or put it towards some unsecured debt or some other debt. I tell everybody, hey, these credit cards and everything, that's what's eating you up. It's not your real estate that's eating you up. It's the interest rates on the credit cards and things like that. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and apply that equity correctly to where it saves you some sleep. And at the same time, you can live in your next home, your luxury home by Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, at the same cost of your first home if you put all those proceeds towards the next house. That's the ideal plan for us. We're going to go ahead and go to one more quick break, and then we're going to come back for 30 more seconds. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
DDLRG is for all family groups, whether it's singles, married couples, or families. They specialize, however, in the higher-end upscale properties, but they can handle all borrowers.
We want to create raving fans.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. 20 seconds left. Thank y'all for tuning in. See you next week. You can catch us again on DDLRG TV. Love's gonna get you. Love where you live. DDLRG.
Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business with the best in the industry.